Most children are happy and well looked after all of the time. They have the opportunity to be parented in a happy home free from risk of harm. But sadly, this isn't always the case. Children can and do grow up in unsafe homes and suffer abuse and neglect at the hands of their parents, their loved ones, or from a person who they thought was safe, a person who was trusted with their care. Child abuse and neglect is a growing problem, not just in the UK, but here in South East Wales, in our towns, our communities and our streets. It's a big problem for us all, mostly because children don't tell us and they suffer in silence. Also because we don't always act for fear of getting it wrong. But children don't have to always tell us if we educate ourselves and are able to spot the signs. We all have a moral responsibility to do this, and a duty of care to keep the children who live in our towns, communities and streets safe. How can we do this? Well, we can begin to do this by recognising the different types of abuse. Children and young people can experience harm in a number of ways. This may include physical abuse, where someone injures or hurts a child. This includes all forms of physical harm. Sexual abuse, where someone forces, entices or exploits a child to take part in any form of sexual activity. Emotional abuse, where adults treat a child over time in ways that damage their emotional development, making the child afraid, insecure, or to feel worthless and unloved. Neglect, where adults fail to meet a child's basic needs. This includes failing to provide food, shelter, clothing, medical care, failing to protect from danger, and leaving them alone. Domestic abuse, the use of physical and or emotional abuse or violence, including undermining of self-confidence, sexual violence or the threat of violence, by a person who is or has been in a close relationship. It is widely recognised that witnessing and becoming caught up in domestic abuse can have a profoundly negative impact on children's safety and well-being. Child sexual exploitation, the coercion or manipulation of children and young people into taking part in sexual activities, and may involve the giving of gifts, money or drugs and alcohol. And by asking ourselves 3 straightforward questions. 1. What do we mean by safeguarding? 2. How can we learn about safeguarding? 3. What can we do to promote safeguarding and protect our children? It is difficult to accept, but any child can be hurt or put at risk of significant harm regardless of their age, gender, ethnicity or religion. So, what does safeguarding really mean? Well, there is no simple answer, but the easy way to remember this is the formula: prevention plus protection equals safeguarding. Safeguarding is the prevention of abuse and neglect and the protection of those children who are suffering abuse and neglect. So, who is responsible? Well, we all are, because safeguarding children is everyone's business. You don't have to be a parent to safeguard children. In fact, you can be a carer, an aunt or uncle, a professional person, a neighbour or a family friend. Really, the list goes on. But it is vital to remember that you have a duty to raise concerns if you are worried about a child. Sometimes people feel afraid to pick up the phone in case they make a mistake, or in case people find out they have reported a concern to children's services. But don't be. The important thing is that our children need you to do this, and you can always remain anonymous if you are worried about others finding out. It is important to remember that a child's life, just like an adult's, is a complex journey with lots of pieces that fit together to tell the story. Just one small amount of information may very well be a piece of their story that fits into their picture. They may be in need of protection, or they may be in need of help and support. But either way, that piece of the jigsaw will help professionals to see the bigger picture and make the right decisions about supporting them. Children's services help families wherever possible to stay together and look towards a bright future together. You can help them to do this by being alert to any difficulties you think a child may be having. What can adults do to promote safeguarding? Children have the right to enjoyment in the community and to be safe and protected in community groups. They have a right to be valued and respected in society. Adults must make sure that children can enjoy their childhood in as safe a way as is possible. If you are an organisation, either professional or volunteering, that works for and with children and young people, then you must have policies and procedures in place that protect children and young people from harm and abuse, enable staff and volunteers to know what to do if they are worried, and identify a designated child protection lead officer. A written document makes it clear what needs to be done and why, and makes it clear to everybody about who to tell if they are worried about a child. Such a document makes it clear what steps should be taken if there are worries about a child or concerns about their welfare. But ultimately, a written document makes sure that the children and young people in your care are safe and happy at all times. By doing this, you can protect staff as well as children by helping to govern and regulate the relationships that staff build with children and young people. If you are concerned about a professional or volunteer working with children, then you can contact Children's Services or the police and share this concern. We in South East Wales are here to help. There are lots of things you can do to help and support a child. Watch, listen and learn. Take on board and report your concerns to Children's Services or the police. The South East Wales Safeguarding Children Board has an excellent website that provides links to all sorts of information about safeguarding children, including a professionals page, a parents or carers page, a children and young people page, training, protocols, procedures and guidance. Simply go to www.sewsc.org.uk or access Children's Services in your area.